Well, welcome everybody to the Horse Racing Ireland Ownership webinar. And this evening we've brought together 4 young people from all over Ireland who are part of the next generation of racing. We've got Maxine O'Sullivan from Cork, who works alongside her father, Eugene O'Sullivan, who's a trainer down there. Patrick Harty, who works alongside his father, Eddie Harty, a dual-purpose trainer on the Curragh. We've got Marshall Watson from up in Armagh, who's working alongside his father, Keith, and Jack Davison, who set up in 2017 as a flat trainer on his family stud farm in County Meath. And if you want to learn more about all of them, rather than them each telling us their life stories, you can go on and find out more about our guests through their bio videos on racehorseownership.ie. But we'll jump in and start talking about it straight away, because as I mentioned, 3 of our guests are currently working alongside family, which, having done it myself, is not always as easy as it may sound. So we'll start, Maxine, maybe we'll talk with you about what it's like training alongside your father. How's the father-daughter relationship? Because we saw that great photo when you had the winner in Cheltenham of you in his arms that was replicated from many years ago. But what's it like, the reality of working alongside your father?
Yeah, it's generally, obviously the goods are good like Cheltenham. But it does have its ups and downs. We've learned to live with it a lot. We used not have a great relationship when we started working together, but we've learned to find a happy hunting ground whereby we know when to let each other go or whatever. So it's good most of the time. I love working with Dad. I think that we kind of complement each other in ways that he is very, very obviously very good. He's the trainer. He's very good at the owners, and he does the race planning and that side of it. And I really enjoy the horses and the yard side of it. So obviously we help each other out in both departments, but I think we complement each other in ways, and most of the time it's good. We do have some very bad days where we both just want to leave, but no, generally it's very good, and I wouldn't wish for anything else. I absolutely love it. So hopefully he feels the same.
We'll have to have a webinar with all the fathers on and ask their opinions too. But Patrick, you work alongside your father Eddie. We mentioned you're both fairly stable, laid back personality, as I'd say. But what's it like back at home? Maybe we don't see the truth behind closed doors.
Yeah, probably very similar to Maxine. It took us a little while to sort of figure out boundaries and develop a good working relationship. But we found our level. Dad sort of deals with, he talks to owners, deals with the office, race planning, watches the work. I can get stuck in the yard and make sure it's running sort of as I like it. Make sure, take care of the horses. I'll be a lot more hands-on than Dad is. He just sits in the Jeep there and watches me run around, really. But yeah, it's got its ups and downs, of course. Like, it can be difficult times, but it's amazing to, if you have a nice winner or a big winner, it's great to be there, the two of us. And, he's the first man I see and I'm the first man he sees. And the two of us walk down to the braiding together. It's a lovely sort of minute walk, and it makes everything worth it. Very enjoyable.
It must make the path easier. We're seeing it more and more in Europe, and now we've started seeing it in England. It must make the path into racing a little bit easier when you can build up a base of owners and contacts and experience before you actually have your name on a license.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, I don't envy anyone. I don't know how Jack has done it, setting up, without any sort of family help or anything along the way. Like, it's a testament to him, because it can't be easy, and it's a great, they call it a leg up, but I wouldn't turn it down anyway, I'll put it that way.
Well, Jack, we'll talk about that, because you're the odd one out here, in that you went it alone and headed off, and you've had a different path into training than our other guests. But tell us a little bit about how you ended up in the job.
Yes, I suppose that for me the big entry point was doing the Godolphin Flying Start, Sally Ann. That was massive. It was a big door opened, if you like, and then it was just a matter of sort of taking the bull by the horns, really, and getting the license out. Once I felt I had the right amount of experience behind me. So that's what I did. I've been training now for, I suppose, for nearly 3 years, and it's been scary. It's been, ups and downs, and plenty of stress along the way. But um, I've earned a huge amount, and it's very satisfying, as Patrick said, when you get a winner. There's no feeling like it. It's a terrible addiction that way. But I mean, that one winner would, I have to go off that for a couple of months. But I crave that, and that's what gets me up in the morning, and that's what makes us go the hard yards and do the big days. But don't get me wrong, it's a great sport. It's great to be working with horses day in, day out, and I suppose it's a great way to make a living if you can make it work.
We're talking about the others having family support and getting into it that way, but in a way, the Godolphin Flying Start has been such a huge leg up for so many people in the industry that it's like you have your own extended family worldwide to help you make that jump.
Yes, for sure. I think that 2-year course, when you meet people and you meet the best and you work for the best, you can't help but get it kind of infected by it, and it drives your ambition. So, had I not got on the course, I'd done the 2-year course, I probably, I mightn't be sitting here today. So that was a pivotal thing, really. And as you said, it's like an extended family. It's a global network, Sally Ann. I can pick up the phone to trainers or bloodstock agents or owners, all over the world. So I suppose that kind of that network is really a key kind of spur, if you like, for me to go training.
And Marshall, when we're talking about coming into the family and training, we're talking about the relationships of joining up, but it's not just that, it's also bringing in your own innovations, your own new ideas into the family business that's already in existence.
Yeah, like it's all about like trying to bring the older generation kicking and squealing into the 21st century at times, and there's been a few arguments had down through the years, but it's like like what Maxine and Patrick say, it's like a storm in a teacup sort of thing. Everything has a big argument at once, and then 2 minutes later it's all forgotten about, for normally it's for the greater good.
And what sort of things have you brought into, you say you dragging them kicking and screaming into the next century, but what sort of ideas have you brought home, and how do you think you've improved the family business?
Yeah, like we put in all-weather gallops and just upgraded all the facilities, put in more stables, ventilation for stables, everything just brought up in standards so that we can hold the horses that we used to sell on to race them now instead of selling on, as I say.
And every yard needs a selling point, and I know you've said it's your warm welcome to your yard up in Armagh. And what sort of welcome can owners expect that you've started up there?
Well, Mother's definitely very good at the scones now, and the cream cakes, to be honest. So there's that, and there's the social side of it. Like anybody nowadays can train race horses to a degree of level, but it's that wee bit extra that you have to go out and give the owners just that little bit more value for money. And I think when we do, it's a wee bit different, but seems to work for our clients, so we're happy with it.
And on that, Patrick, I know you've said as well that you operate something very similar, that you have an open door policy on your yard on the Curragh, that literally you might be flooded with requests now, but literally anybody can call you up and just turn up and pester Eddie on the gallops for a morning.
Oh, that's it. Give him as much hardship as you can. No, absolutely. You have to be open. You have to be. It can drive you mad. Sometimes your phone is ringing at 9 or 9:30 at night. Jesus, what does this lad want again? But you have to be willing to do it, and I enjoy it. Like I enjoy picking up the phone at 6 o'clock in the morning when I wake up and seeing who I've got a WhatsApp from, asking about how's the filly and is that cut heels or leg or whatever. You have to be willing to go that extra yard. Like Marshall said, you need to be able to just put yourself out there. And we've got that policy. It's an open door policy. If anybody wants to come along, just give us a ring and call out. It's something we're very proud of. We're proud to show off, and we're happy to accommodate anyone.
And Maxine, you know, Patrick saying there, you have to have a selling point. You have to have something to help you stand out from the crowd. I think your winner in Cheltenham was a fairly unique selling point this year, but we'll talk about that again. Do you think that that's helped boost the profile of the yard?
Yeah, I think it has, but I think it just boosted our ethos in general. We're very lucky that we have a great team of staff and owners, and like Patrick said, we love to have people to come to see their horses, and sometimes they don't, and you know, they're a bit shy to come and see their horse. It's their horse, like they're more than welcome to come, and we love to see them come, and we're like proud to show the work we've done. We want them to come, and I think, like I said, our whole the whole atmosphere in the yard has just got we've a great team, like I said, of staff, and they were so delighted. And our owners, we've mainly pointers, and they're a lot of local people, and they're kind of part of the team as well. Like when we're pointing on Sundays, the owners at the lorry with the horse, you know, it's nice. So they're all part of our team, and our staff and owners and all of us, thankfully, we had a great boost, and I do think it has helped just to keep us going, and you know, it'll keep us going for a few more years, and hopefully might have another one.
Well, keeping going during the difficult times at the moment, of course, hasn't been easy for anybody. And we don't want to get too caught up with COVID because we're all sick of hearing about it. But it hasn't been easy for owners either. And Jack, have you found that trying to keep owners feel close to their horses when we were in lockdown and they couldn't get to them, and now when they can't get to a race course to see them run, do you feel that they have that closeness still?
Yeah, so that's something like I've had to work hard at, Sally Ann, obviously, because owner satisfaction is key to keeping the wheel turning and keeping everybody happy. So I suppose I've upped my game on that front through you know, WhatsApp groups and videos, and you know, just as much good communications as I can get in on a weekly basis, really. And that's a key thing. I even go so far as to voice record the jockey after the race, and owners do appreciate that, whereby I ask the jockey to give his, you know, I suppose post-mortem on what just happened, and that kind of deflects the attention away from me if the horses run badly as well, so that works well. But you know, little things like that, Sally Ann, just keeping the owners really in the loop. Call them once a week, send them videos of the horses working, and you know, put them in touch with the jockey. You know, little things like that really do help to you know, give the owners, you know, that bit of extra satisfaction, even though they're not able to go to the races, which is obviously a huge disappointment for them.
Yeah, and Patrick, I know you've been very active on social media lately and through your racing club and different like modems like that, but you've also Thoroughbred Tales, which is something that I've been behind, but you very graciously hosted that for a week, and we got great reception for sharing your videos and doing little mini interviews with your staff and people around the yard. You even got Eddie to participate. But how have you found that has helped with your business during lockdown?
Definitely. Social media is something Dad has no interest in, so that's 100% my area of expertise. It's been good. I really enjoyed Thoroughbred Tales. It's amazing. Once you start tweeting and sending in a few videos and photos and getting the lads to participate, it's hard to stop. Like it becomes a bit addictive. But it's been really good. Like you kind of have to train yourself a bit. Like sometimes you think, oh, I sound like an idiot. Who wants to listen to me talking again or read another tweet? But you know, people do send in. You do get feedback, and it's good, and it sort of spurs you on. You know, people are enjoying this, and I might get a bit of business out of it as well. So you get stuck in and put up a few photos, and it's been really good. And the owners have loved it as well. Especially like the WhatsApp is the savior, especially nowadays. You can video a horse when it's cantering by and talk over it. Here's such and such. It runs next week. Happy with everything. Worked well last week, and you cover all your bases. The owner sees his horse. He hasn't been able to see the horse in 3 months. Now he sees him cantering by and gets a bit of an update, and it takes you 8 seconds. It's just it's fantastic.
And I know, Marshall, you've said that to me that you don't embrace, you're not even on Twitter. We couldn't even use you to promote it, but you said that yours is a different approach that you use. You're still using the social media, well, not the social media, but you're still using the technology, but a little bit more intimate than on social media.
Yeah, I just do it more in-house sort of attitude. So we have a thing called the 11 o'clock club. So it's everybody who's an owner in the yard is a part of the club, and it's on WhatsApp, and all I just do is send out a message of that day's runner and how I expect it to run, and also that's where I put all the videos of all the horses galloping and all the relevant information. So it's much more intimate, as you say, than plastering it all over social media, which probably I shouldn't do more of, but I live and learn.
Do you think it's hard, Marshall, to sell racing to a new audience? You're the next generation of trainers, but do you think that we're going to have it's hard to sell this product to the next generation of racing fans?
Yeah, it is, especially probably because I don't use social media as much as I do. And because, as you touched upon, like there's no people getting to go racing and back to the bars and all, that's where you could normally pick up owners and talk to them and sell horses. But probably I'm going to have to embrace a different way forward of selling horses and inviting people into the yard. But that's why I'm sitting here today.
We'll all learn something from each other. And Jack, I know you were talking a bit about, you know, some of the racing clubs that you have in the yard and the innovations that you've used, not just on social media, but the new technology that's available to the next generation of trainers.
Yes, I train. I'm lucky to train for a Sunday racing club. Sally Ann Darren McGrath runs it, and he's big into, you know, applying technologies to training and then using that information to give the owner, some feedback and some accurate feedback. So I'd be talking about things like, you know, fractional times and, you know, how good this horse worked, how fast it worked really, and then with that information, the owner can do what he or she would like with it. So it basically all adds to the owner experience, and it just makes the whole thing more interesting. You know, be it, you know, a good work, a bad work, a medium work. It just gives an owner who may not know much about racing an insight into how important times are and how important, you know, working horses on different surfaces are, and how that relates to the actual race itself. You know, people mightn't understand that because a horse works well on one surface, he mightn't go well on soft ground. So there's a lot of educational communication there that needs to be kind of laid out a little bit more. So Sunday Racing, you know, are going about doing a good job on this, and it's all time and work, Sally Ann, but it's really important way to involve and get new people into the sport. It's just giving them, you know, an education and letting them know a bit about the horse and, you know, why it likes soft ground, why it wants quick ground, and all the rest of it. Yeah, so there are technologies that really have a place, I think, going forward.
Yeah, and Patrick, I know you're a big fan of technology too, of the heart monitors and things like that, and you've so many facilities available to you on the Curragh to be able to sell that information to your clients and bring new people in.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in you can't have too much information. You know, get as much information as you can and use it as you see fit. We bought some heart monitors 2 years ago, and they've been fantastic. So like every year we try to do a little bit, you know, something new. So we got a weighing scales, all the horses are weighed. Now we've got heart monitors. So, you know, we know as the horse's weight comes down, they're getting fitter, but now we can see their heart rate comes back to rest quicker. You know, it was taking 2 minutes, now it's taking a minute and a half, and next week it's a minute. It measures stride length, top speed. Now the stride length I think is good, because you often hear riders say, "Oh, this guy feels a bit jarred up." I say, God, no, not this. And you go back and you say, "Oh, well, his stride length is the exact same as it was 3 months ago when he won a Premier Handicap. So let's go a little bit longer and see if he comes out of it." You know, just stuff like that. It's extra information. You use it as you see fit, but I just don't think you can have too much info.
Well, we touched on earlier, Patrick, about, you know, coming back into the family and bringing new things in, and you've had a great experience with other trainers before you came back. And do you feel that the things you learned from people like Nicky Henderson that you now have brought home and tried to apply a little bit in your family training yard?
Definitely, yeah. Dad had a fairly similar training routine to that Nicky did. He loved his visits coming over. He used to sit in the Jeep and learn as much as I did, spending 5 years there. But definitely, like Nicky had a great eye for a horse, and you learn a ton off him. He wouldn't spoon feed you anything, but if you were happy to keep your mouth closed and your eyes open, you would learn an awful lot. And you can't help but absorb that. And it's like Jack touched on earlier with the Flying Start. When you're surrounded by people that are brilliant at what they do, you soak it up. And if you've any sort of wit about you, you'll learn something, and you'll use it going forward. So I definitely feel like I've learned an awful lot from Nicky. I use it every single day, and it. I put it this way: I went over there when I was 19. Dad had a Cheltenham winner, and I thought, I know everything now. I'll go over here and I'll sort out Nicky Henderson. After a week, I realised I hadn't a clue. 5 years were very well spent there.
And Maxine, you've also had a great past of working for some top trainers in all over the world before you came back to your family yard. Do you feel you picked up experience on those mainly flat trainers that you were working for before you came back home to your yard?
Yeah, definitely. I've just spent a bit of time, just summers generally, but it's enough to pick up bits and pieces. England, France, and America, and I've learned much. Everywhere is so different, and you take bits and you leave bits, but you're just always learning. I did the National Stud course as well, and I met a lot of different people, just like the start, kind of from countries, different ways of doing things. I've also done a bit of yearling sales and yearling prep, which I didn't think I would learn so much about racehorses and racehorse training from them even. It's just very good to have a variety, and you're just learning every day. Like every single day you learn something new from someone. So every bit you pick up along the way is brilliant, and I try to bring some back home. Obviously everything doesn't suit to what we're doing or to our yard but they're nice bits to have and to remember, and someday they could be used. So yeah, it's great to learn a lot.
Do you think that people don't realize quite how many different elements go into training a horse? Like you're talking about learning about yearlings, well then you have to have an eye for buying a horse at the sales, and then you have to have an eye for breaking it and preparing it for its career. There's so many elements along the way that we kind of need to share with the public a little bit more about all the stories that go on to produce that horse that arrives on the track the day they see it at the races.
Definitely, there's so much goes into the horses in general. Like I often think just even riding young horses, it means so much for them to be ridden properly. Like it all comes back to basic horsemanship, and that's in every aspect of equitation in general. So it's all relevant, and you learn in any aspect of horses. It's all relative to horse racing. You can never stop learning from anything in horses, I think.
Well, I think you're all so brave to take on to set out in this business of training racehorses. It's not for the faint-hearted. But we'll go along each of you, and you just talk a little bit about the challenges you see ahead for selling this product to the public at the current time, and what you're hoping to get out of it. We'll start with you, Marshall, about what you're hoping to kind of bring to your family business and how you're hoping to move it forward in the current climate.
Yeah, we're probably going to try to retain more of our stock than selling them on, and try and compete that way, and trying to open up more to syndicates and individual owners, and obviously racing clubs as well. But it's just strange times that we live in, and we just have to embrace it in the best possible way we can.
And Patrick, moving forward for you with your father, what would you hope the future would lead for Patrick and Eddie Harty?
Most immediately, I suppose, we're trying to get the dual licenses brought in, same as they've had in Australia for years, but they brought them in the UK this year. So we've been campaigning for a long time to try and get Eddie and Patrick Harty on the training license, the same as Marshall and Keith Watson might like to be on it, or Maxine and Eugene O'Sullivan. We're campaigning more immediately for that. So, that'd be great, because Dad's only been training 15 years, so he doesn't really want to be packing it in anytime soon. And I suppose I don't really want to wait another 15 years or so. Hopefully we get that going soon enough. But as regards the challenges and what we hope to achieve, we just keep increasing the quality of the horses that we have in the yard, and giving owners as much enjoyment as they can. That's what it's all about, because if the owners are enjoying themselves, we're enjoying ourselves.
I think that's very true. And Jack, we come to you. Selling yourself as a product, in this current environment is never easy. But how are you hoping to move forward your training yard?
Yes, well, at the moment, Sally Ann, it's all about going and getting some new stock with the yearling sales around the corner. So I'm putting on my best sales cap at the moment and trying to market myself to the masses, but in a classy kind of way. By no means desperate, but that is, all joking aside, it's very important to get new stock in and new blood, and especially at the moment, it'll be a buyer's market. So, while the economy is clearly suffering at the moment, and we're in a recession, it's a good time to buy horses. So, with that in mind, I'll be at some of the sales coming up this month, and hoping to replenish. So, this is a very important time for me, and to try and invest potential owners' money wisely is a pressure in itself. So, you kind of need to be on the ball there and get the right stock from the start, and as Maxine was saying, that there's so much to it, and what you're looking at, and being a good judge of a horse, like Patrick was saying, Nicky, is that's a huge part of training racehorses, the whole business really, because you got to get the right model from the start. So for me to grow my business, that's where my head is at now. It's about getting new stock, getting the right stock, horses that can win races, and getting owners in, getting them a winner, and then trying to just let it snowball from there.
And do you think that it's helped you, just touching on that, in the old days, you'd have been the one standing outside the stable trying to flog the yearlings to the trainers. Do you think that that's helped you in your new guys, that you're the one going around with the money in your pocket to buy the yearlings? Definitely, Sally Ann. I've been a long time, trying to sell them, and then the ones that we didn't sell, Marshall touched on it. He was talking about retaining stock and racing them. That's the way I went about it. We had homebreds that weren't commercially valuable, let's say, that I decided to race, and it worked out quite well. And all the time I was looking at these horses, and I was like, what's nice about this horse, and what makes it a decent racehorse, and always learning, always trying to hone in on what I would like. Had I, when I get 20 or 30,000 or 50,000 or whatever might be, to go and buy a yearling myself. So now buying them with the experience I've had training the homebreds I have, I'd be confident enough that I can buy a decent animal. Well, we'll look forward to seeing them on the track next year. And Maxine, what does the future hold for your family yard down in Cork? What can we expect to see from Eugene O'Sullivan? Are we going to have another Cheltenham winner for the both of you next year?
I hope so. But I suppose, like Marshall said, for the last maybe 10 years, Dad has always, our business has been the selling pointers, really. That has been the main thing and the main bread and butter. But I think Dad loves training horses, and I think we would love to have more owners back in the yard. Like in the last 10 years, there has been less owners. We've owned them ourselves and just trying to turn it over. But the owners have come back, and hopefully they'll be able to stick through the COVID. And they've been so patient all along, and hopefully we'll all get through it. And we have a nice bunch of horses, and hopefully we'll be able to go to war with them this season with the owners. That would be key for us.
Well, I wish you all the very best of luck in your careers. I think you're all so brave. I don't envy the challenges ahead, but I think you're all great examples to sell racing to the next generation of fans. So I hope, and I look forward to following you and hopefully interviewing all four of you on the track in the future. And thank you all for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this evening's conversation. If you would like to find out more on racehorse ownership, please visit racehorseownership.ie. And you can check out the race behind the scenes section to register for other webinars this week and view trainer videos and demonstrations covering all areas of racing. So make sure you check that out because it's fascinating watching. There's some brilliant videos from all of our guests this evening, but also from many other trainers' yards all around Ireland. So thanks to all of you, and I hope to see you all soon.
Thanks, Sally Ann.
Thank you.
Sally Ann.
Thanks.
Bye.